Okay, so we read The New Negro by Alan Locke and answered a couple questions. So for the first question, it was, what do you think about his explanation of the New Negro? We thought his explanation was very needed because it gave hope to the African Americans of the time. We really feel that they needed something to aspire to, and we thought this was a great cause. His definition of the New Negro also caused people to think differently about where they fit in society, and it kind of forced a new opinion, and it kind of forced out the social norms of the old Negro. One of his main goals was also to revolutionize how whites viewed blacks in America, and also how blacks viewed themselves.
Right. Another question that we answered is, in essence, what does it mean to be a new Negro? The new Negro was a reference to a new era of African Americans with a newfound pride and power to establish economic and political rights. All of this was an effort to create an independent voice in arts and literature, rising above the past era, which was the old Negro, and this included racism. The new Negro was a retort to the old Negro, mentally where Negroes were seen as nothing but slaves, waste of space, and barely citizens. The new Negro stood up systematically to fight racism and to have their voice heard.
Okay, so for our third question, it was, what did you learn in general? And so, in general, we learned that the Harlem Renaissance was just an effort to assert kind of a newfound independence in the mind of African Americans across the country. It was kind of a way just for them to express themselves through whatever means they thought was necessary. And also Locke, along with other great minds such as W.E.B. Du Bois and Paul Laurence Dunbar, really just wanted people to abandon the old ways of thinking and move into like a new era of how blacks were viewed in America.
Yeah. In the 21st century, in my own perspective and in his alike, what does it mean to be a new Negro? A new Negro in today's times requires us to take advantage of the opportunities provided us and to rise above the stereotypes. In the 21st century, the African American populace are combated with everyday stereotypes causing us to be looked down upon in work and in how we are seen. We are often seen as violent, unproductive, and nothing better but entertainment. Thus, the new Negro in the 21st century requires us to have a greater level of commitment to making the African American name great. And two reasons and two ways to support this is just to look at the statistics in America today. 59% nationally, according to the National Center for Educational Statistics, show that only 59% of the African Americans nationally graduate, and that's a very bad deficit. Also, according to the NAACP, 35% of jail inmates and 37% of prison inmates are African American. And these two statistics basically show how today in the 21st century, we must be new Negroes, showing that we are above the stereotypes and that we are able to be productive in this society.
All right, guys, thanks for watching our video on the New Negro.